Yeah, hi. Welcome to Sridhar's newsletter number 30 and our podcast show, Minimalist Techie. I appreciate you being here so we can connect weekly on interesting topics. So, if you'd like to receive this article or the podcast directly on your email, just register to our website, sridharkargipati.substack.com, or you can find us on our show name is Minimalist Techie on Apple Podcast or Spotify or any other linked platforms to these platforms. Linked. Any other linked platforms to these podcast sites. So that's all. So let's get into this week newsletter. As you guys all know, that this is mostly about the articles, books, videos, etc. What all I read or watch during the entire week. What are the exact my views revolve around my head, and that's all we are going to just put together a small audio recording of the post who people who are not really like leaders readers, so for them this is an audio version. And so the link, so the very first topic is Netflix encourages employees to interview at other companies. Yeah. Maybe you all know this already. Even I know this already because No Rules Netflix and the Culture of Reinvention. We talked about this book so many times in my newsletter. I'm reading this book third time since it released. Every time one or other topic surprises me from this book. I'm also an employee. When I go over job portals and share my resume, I make sure that it's not just visible to the I make sure that it's not visible to the current employer or not visible to like everyone, or make sure that it's only visible to the recruiters who are outside of my organization. We all do this. This is why how many times I have read this book or headline, or actually I'm reading this book again this week. This surprises me a lot. Netflix encourages employees to interview at other companies, and they're allowed to take freely any interviews, and they can easily freely talk to their colleagues, their managers, take a half day leaves as well to go and do these interviews. This allows them to know their employee value in the market. If they come back with a bigger offer, management will simply match it, or in most cases they will pay way premium above that. So pay is never in minds of their employees. Their main idea is that a team is a professional sports team. So we talked about this, that for them, many people talk about when we work together like we are part of a family. But even at least I agree with this an ideology that a team should be in a professional team, right? So professional. So even that's what they also say, that for them, the main idea for them for a team is the team has to be a professional sports team, not a family. So they all are paid as a star performers. So performing well is the only way to sustain in the job. Few think it is very stressful to work in such environment, but when you work with highly talented team members, each other will actually raise the productivity standards even higher. Yeah, if you are the only talented guy in the team, and that is going to drain you in couple of months or in a year. So it's always nice to working with a with your same talented and higher talented group of people. Basically, it will actually improve your own knowledge. It will actually make you a better performing person in the environment. They know, so the organization Netflix really know how to attract or retain best people at their end, and compensate them so well based upon the market values. Other organizations control their employees with internal processes, 360 reviews, quarterly reviews, half yearly reviews. Uh, the roles are defined at certain band level, salaries are given according to the role or bands where they belong to. All these clutches simply demoralize the employee. This is why every 1 to 3 years you will see people just move from one organization to another. If you are a leader in your team or an organization, then do read this book, as it will set your mind to refresh on many topics and also make you rethink a decade old principles which needs to be challenged. You will for sure understand the power of talent density, how to attract talent and create high performing teams. So once again, I'm referring a link to this book, which we have at least discussed multiple times in our podcast or the newsletters. So sharing again this week, it's my read. Moving on to the second topic. The second topic, with so many deaths around world, what is your first thoughts? COVID-19 situation has created a death hell around the world. Earlier, there were many reasons due to which deaths used to occur across the world. Here is a snippet from the World Health Organization for the leading causes of a death globally prior to the pandemic, COVID-19 2019 pandemic. This is across the world: heart disease, heart stroke, chronic diseases, respiratory infections, lung cancers, Alzheimer's, diarrheal diseases, diabetes, kidney diseases. So these are the biggest serial killers to the humankind. Are these all these are still our biggest killers, and with COVID-19 pandemic, their range of killings is getting even more higher. Earlier as well, when deaths happen in your known circle, your world will get shattered. And after a while, you or I will fight back, live in the present, and still have hope for people all around us. Now the situation is all different, as now we are hearing deaths among our own circle with so higher frequency compared to the past. Just in the past 1 month, I got to know about one person died at the age of 38, other two at the age of 51 or so in my own circle. I lost my dad last year for heart attack on in August 2020, and now within a span of 1 month, I got to know about three people who died because of COVID-19 and their pre-existing conditions. My very first thoughts, knowing the death, is definitely shocking, and at the same time, it made me question myself a lot. What if the same thing happens to me? What if I get died early? What will happen to my wife? What will happen to my kid? What will happen to the future which I'm working towards? I work so hard at work. Is work really worth it? For many of us, work shapes our future, our lives. But if life isn't so short, life itself is so short, is giving your too much to the work is really worth it? I wish myself to be that old college student again, to be with family and friends, play my games. My morning walk made me realize that day to run back home and pick up phone, and I called at least few, I texted at least few of my close. I felt I wish I had let myself a little casual rather than chasing the life. These were my initial thoughts since last 2 weeks. With so much happening around the world, writing my own thoughts d- writing my own thoughts down is only the best help I can do for myself, as it will remind me what I need to do, or at least if I need to relook at certain things in my life, will make me realize what is the real priority in my life. I recommend you all talk about your feelings with a person next to you, or feel free to reach me over an email or on the Twitter, so I can be your companion in these times. So do let me know. These are my initial few thoughts. I guess everyone would be having some or other type of a shocking responses. It is definitely helpful when you talk about your feelings. Third, job interviews. Don't look only for hard skills. This week, one of my colleague actually reached out for an advice. We are going to talk about advice as a fourth topic as well, but we'll just talk about in early. We'll just talk about the job interview and what will happen when people are only looking at hard skills. So my point is, rather than not talking about don't, I would say let's see what are other options which you need to look at apart from the hard skills while doing your job interviews. In early stage of career, all we want is to get in a job, and after a couple of years, we will move jobs from one organization to another. The key part which we sell is our core technical skill set in these interviews. After your first job move, you realize few things. That core skill and a salary are not enough to make you stay at organization. Just within 2 years, you will again be on the same road in the search of a new job and will repeat the same mistake again and again. Only few make calculative move. So let's discuss those few things this week, which will help us for the next move when we change to a different job. So let's talk the very first your core. Let's talk about your hardcore things itself first, which is the hard core skills. Make sure that you are going through job description very clearly and discuss in detail about your roles and responsibilities pretty clear in your interview itself. Nowadays, certain job description, if you look at it, basically it looks like the responsibilities or which they are defining in that requirement is almost like a 2 to 3% job activities are mentioned there together. So, however technically strong you are, however your core strength, your core skill set strength it is, you will not be working entire 24 hours in a day, right? So do make sure you clearly understand, at the same time do discuss in detail about your roles and responsibilities in your interview. Second, salary. Never state your expected package first. I'll not talk about this topic a lot because this is one of your core skill when you shift a job. So definitely you'll be looking into the my first point and second point already in it, right? So one thing which I'll say is never state your expected package first, as it leaves no room for the negotiation. Be informed of the market value ahead and know their expected rate, and then only begin your negotiations in your way. Never throw the ball into their court first, especially for the pay. Third is benefits. Many stops right after core skill and salary. But from here on, let's talk about additional things which are must for you to stay longer at organization and give your 100% as you work there. Most companies offer many benefits to employees like wellness programs, free learning site access like LinkedIn Learning, free certifications, or access to empower like any grocery store or any foods, uh, snacks, work from home options, so whatnot. So do definite what all additional benefits apart from your pay you're going to get into it. Retirement plans. Fourth one is retirement plans. These are 401k plans in US or Provident Fund in India. Make sure you always have an employer who provides this. The age old pension tradition is gone while a decade ago itself. So, this is your way to plan your retirement. Doesn't matter how young you are or even late phase, just start doing it in your first job itself. However, the small the number is, keep the amount towards your retirement, as compounding power after 30 years of work will show up. Do choose employer who match your funds as well. That is, say you're investing 100, the employer will also invest 100 as well. So that is like 100% match. It's a free money. And make sure you choose the right products for your retirement plans. Leave no choice for you to skip this. Just do it. Fifth one, life insurance and medical insurance. Health sector prices will never settle down. They will just rise and rise. Again, however young you are starting your job, never accept an offer without a better insurance plans. Do know about their plans ahead, as not every organization gives a better rate. You will notice this a lot, that in few organizations they pay 75% less than what you will pay at few other organizations. 6. Let us talk few of the most hot topics now, as even above all are good. If your team and manager sucks, then it will be a nightmare day in and day out. The people you work with on daily basis and their current work culture are very crucial for one's well-being. Yes, well-being. They cannot harm you physically, but they can harm your mental health. Doesn't matter if your pay is good or it is your dream job. If the team and the company culture is not healthy, then it will easily demoralize you. This hashtags, I want to I wanted to write about this in detail, but I found this week an article over LinkedIn which summarizes this so well. We will discuss about this article in the podcast which I'm currently doing the recording. So few key things you can ask in an interview, so you will better be aware of team culture. What would be my first week of training in the team? Know about the onboarding process into the team, so the transition is easy in the first few weeks. What does team expects of you, and what the manager expects from you on day to day or week to week, etc. Yeah? If the expectation is, you'll understand that same response whether the micromanagement is happening there. Ask about what would be your career progression in the role you are joining after 1 year. Monitor your interview process. Yes, you are the not only one who is getting interviewed here. See what is the interviewer behavior. They might be your lead or a boss after you join them. So do they listen well? Do they accept any feedback given to them? In one or two rounds, it is very hard to identify this, but if you get yourself prepared, it is very easy to identify these clues. I suggest you just watch some small 15-minute videos on YouTube on topics like the racist boss, toxic manager, or less performing teams. You will pick many key things for your reference. So you can clearly identify them very quick in your 60 minutes of interview process. Monitor your entire joining process. How frequently they were in touch and how they act during negotiation processes. This will let you know if any red flags ahead before you take an offer. So let's talk about the article which talks about our hashtags point, which is especially how to stop a toxic management. Yep, yes, you heard it right. A leader can be considered toxic if they inflict serious and lasting harm on their colleagues or subordinates. You need to understand, you need to be very careful. Just because you don't get on with the manager doesn't mean that you can stick a toxic label to them. 48% of the managers is, doesn't don't have any management training in their previous 12 months, so you have to really deal with the person's individual attitude. So as we discussed, look into the job interview process. You will come to know at least any signs of the poisonous management. The most important thing is to take a stock of your needs and expectations before investigating whether the team you want to join is the right one for you. Do you want autonomy or structure? Do you prefer encouragement or challenges? The job interview is also a valuable moment of exchange at which you can get information about the company, the team, and management, how they work, and possibly detect any dysfunctional practices. So, how you can spot such a toxic boss? Right? As we said, how well they listen. Do they listen at what level of empathy? Do they show any type of not trust, or how their delegation is? In your entire interview process, see if there is a respect for the people, for is it the process is fair enough, or so do they speak negatively or in a demeaning way about the former employees? So just ask a simple question. So are you filling a brand new position, or are you basically replacing some existing employee? Those type of questions will easily let you know how exactly they respect their colleagues or other people. All right. So I'll leave the link in the show notes so you can just go through in detail about uh, that hash six which we mentioned in our post. So, because that is having a clear definition and multiple questions and how exactly you need to overcome uh, with such a toxic boss, or how you can meet your own team members and all that. Okay. Topic 4: the advice trap. Yeah, the advice trap: be humble, stay curious, and change the way you lead forever. So, this is one of the best selling author of the coaching habit from the same author, Michael, who did a prior book, The Coaching Habit, and the advice trap is a better segue into this new book. Stay curious for a little bit longer just opens up so many good things. The book is about advice trap. It's not recommending to stop giving advice to anyone, but rather it's defining different stages of advice giving, in which state you are and which state the receiver is, and in how many ways it is good when given in a right way, in how many ways it will exhaust you in your own trap. It is a must read. If at all you are a fixer, if you might be an uh, oldest member of your family, oldest member of your siblings, you are a fixer in your life. So it is a must read. If you are a fixer in your group family, you might be right always, and you might have answer for your challenges and for others as well. You are the go-to person, or you are the one who needs an advice in some or in all cases. In whatever category you fall in, do read this book, please. At a high level, I'll just give points, but from a book review perspective, what all it talks about. The core part was give advice only if you are trained well and you really want to help others, and helping others is in your best interest. That is not to make you feel good or make you feel good as a fixer. When you are giving an advice, you really don't understand other person's challenges in such cases. You might be solving a wrong problem, or in some cases, although you are giving a solid advice, but you yourself might not believe in that your advice is powerful. So never be a fixer. It's the most exhausting job ever, as you are fixing your own life and their life. Do give advice in such a way that it can have an impact on other person. It should be a right leadership act. The more you get realize about the problem, then you should be in a position to let the other person to figure the solution out themselves. Basically, empower them. For that, you need to have a right guided questionnaire to do that. Never allow yourself to keep forward and jump to give solution. As when you quickly jump to advice giving, you are sending a message that you are better than them. You are harming other person to doubt their own competence. Can you stay little curious and wait before giving or taking advice? This seems very easy, right? When in a conflict mode, it is very hard to stay little more curious, as you are in such a zone and feeling that what the hell is happening to me, or why I should do this or not. This is the case for both fixer who is giving an advice and also for the receiver. What's on your mind? Question yourself. Ask this question when in conflict. Talk to yourself, get your answers. Once you get the answer, ask yourself what else. Yes, this is the second part of it. What else will make yourself a little more curious? As even when you have an answer, it is allowing yourself to look for another solution. This will allow you to really deep dive into the challenge you are facing. As you do this analysis, look for the points to really know what is the most challenging thing here for you. Once you ask this question, you will learn and grow and expand your own capabilities. What do you really want? This adds an inspection clarity in your own mind. It is the most powerful question for yourself, as it will make you think you through your challenge again. Ask yourself how one can really help, or a fixer can ask it back, what is the real help you need? That's like other person is hearing you, but one needs to know what exact support one need to get an advice. That is why a fixer should never jump to a conclusion. As someone said, change is not easy. It is hard in the beginning, messy in the middle, but it's gorgeous at the end. When you really question yourself, why can't I solve this issue of myself? You will have answer already, but it will require a hard change. So you need to understand by making such changes. What is your real price at the end? Advice Trap is definitely a damn good book. Yeah. The irony of this book is it gives us an advice about not giving so much advice. So, but it clearly tells you why exactly you should not be giving too much advice. If you're really grieving, you should be trained enough. You should be asking the right questions. So basically, you should empower the other person to solve their own challenge. This book is very important. People who are teachers, managers, parents, leaders who want to have a positive influence on others. Without knowingly, you might be harming the other person just to make yourself feel better. So, I do recommend everyone to read this book. So, that be all, guys. So, that is all for this week. See you again. You guys can see the our newsletter link in the show notes, and you can always visit to the website to hear look at the prior newsletters, or else you can just play a click button to go through this audio version. So do let me know in the comments, or either in your reviews or on the podcast platforms. So what is your view on this particular post and our podcast? So do share, like, subscribe, whatever these days those kids says. Stay connected, share ideas, and spread happiness. Thank you. Thanks again.